Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be discussing the most important chord in jazz, or all music, depends how you see it. Let's define importance first, right? Like in this context, what does it mean for a chord to be important? As an improviser, I am defining importance as harmonic generosity, pretty much. What that means is that an important chord for the improviser is a chord that provides you with the most amount of high quality notes, chord tones and colors, 9s, 11s, 13s, etc. It all means that when you derive your lines from this chord, you're always hitting the best sounding stuff. It leaves out the fluff. So what is this chord? Is it a minor chord, a dominant chord? It's none of that. In fact, you might be surprised. It's a major 7 flat 5 chord. A lot of people use that at the end of the song, with that Lydian sounding stuff. That's all cool, but that's not how we're going to use it at all here. What I'll do is I'll show you how to play it on the most fundamental chords that you'll find in a jazz standard, which are 5. And I'll show you what each note, compared to that structure, that harmonic structure, what each note in the major 7 flat 5 chord represents. Let's start with the major 7 chord, which is the first out of the 5 fundamental chords that you find in jazz standards. In a major 7 chord, we're going to play the major 7 flat 5 chord right on the root. And check this out. It's going to provide you with the root, right? The third of the chord, I'm doing it in G major, the sharp 11, and the 7th. So that's 3 chord tones, the root, the third, and the 7th. Pretty much you're outlining the full chord right there, except the 5th. And you are playing a really high quality sounding tension, which is a sharp 11. You might say, well, what about when I'm playing a chord that's not Lydian? Well, you're gonna be superimposing Lydian anyway. So it's up to you to make it work, to play with conviction, to make the idea there, the melodic idea work. So, there's no way around that when you use it on the root. You're going to be providing that Lydian sounding quality. Okay? So if I have, again, a major 7 chord like G major 7, I play my ideas of the G major 7 flat 5 chord. Okay, so minor chords. When you have minor chords, let's say you have G minor, what you'll do is you'll play the major 7 flat 5 chord right on the third of the chord. So pretty much the relative major, right? So when you play it on the third, what you're doing is you are outlining the minor third, the chord, which is, again, probably the most important chord tone, right? The 13th, which is a really nice sounding Dorian color on the minor. You're also projecting the 9th and then the 5th. Okay, so minor 3rd, 13, 9, and 5th. 2 really important chord tones and 2 amazing sounding tensions. Okay? So on a minor chord again, you have G minor, you play it on B flat. When you have a minor 7 flat 5 chord, you want to play it on the flat 5. So if you have A minor 7 flat 5, you play it on E flat, which is the flat 5. That way you're going to be projecting flat 5, which is probably the most important chord tone in the minor 7 flat 5 chord. Right? So flat 5, root, then you're projecting the 11th, and then the flat 7. So 2 amazing sounding tensions, and then 2 great chord tones. So flat 5, root, 11th, and flat 7. 3 chord tones, sorry, and then 1 tension. Let's keep going. Dominant chords. If you have A7, you are going to play the major 7 flat 5 chord on the 7th of the dominant chord. Okay? That way you are projecting the flat 7. The third, so you have the tritone, the two most important chord tones for a dominant chord. 13, really nice sounding color, and then the 9th. What else could you want, right? So if you have A7, you would be playing your line of G major 7 flat 5 to project those sounds. When you want to alter a dominant 7, let's say you have B flat 7 and you want to project alter notes on that B flat 7, what you'll do is play the major 7 flat 5 chord on the 3rd. That way you are projecting the 3rd of the chord, the flat 7, so again, once again, the tritone of the dominant 7 chord, sharp 9, which is an amazing sounding classic, altered dominant tension, and then the flat 13. If somebody's playing B flat 7, you want to alter that chord. You play off D major 7 flat 5. Okay, so that's those are the 5 fundamental chords that you see in jazz standards and in a lot of music. Major 7th, minor 7th, minor 7 flat 5, dominant 7th natural, and then dominant 7th altered. Okay, so you want to practice the formulas that I just taught you. You want to really internalize how to find quickly, if you have a minor chord, where do you play that major 7 flat 5 structure? You want to practice that. Now, this is not easy to do, right? Because a lot of people, when I teach them this, they ask me, how do you turn such vertical structures into lines? It sucks. You have to practice a lot. You have to use some scales to connect the notes, right? Some scale notes. We're not using scales to improvise. We're using harmonic structures to improvise. Using scales to improvise is a watered down version of what you could do. Okay, think about orange juice. Do you want orange juice, right? Or do you want really watered down orange juice? Same thing. Scale is a watered down version of a chord. So it's not easy, but you have to practice using your ears, transcribing, using scale notes, approach tones to make it more linear. To take this and make it more linear. All of those approaches make the structure more linear. Now, the way I really started understanding how to use those major 7 flat 5 chords was by creating these zones on the guitar that I'll show you, so that you can know where the main notes are, and then you have to practice a lot to create melodies on those major 7 flat 5 chords. So that's a topic for maybe a different video, how to turn those structures into lines. So anyway, let's do these in E flat. I call these zones, major 7 flat 5 zones. We're going to start with this shape, which is just your E flat major 7 flat 5 common drop 2 shape, right? I'm going to call that zone 1. Then this is going to be zone 2. That one I created by taking the E flat, triad, putting the flat 5 on top, and then this note in the bottom, which is 9th. And all of these zones, all they're doing is just showing you a general area where the notes of that structure are. Then we have this, zone 3 right here. 4, then 5, and then back to 1. And then, you know, if you really look at them, they're just like the triad with the flat 5 and then some chord tones like the 7th, etc. So you got to work on learning your zones really well. You know, it doesn't have to be exactly like this. You can vary it a little bit if you want, as long as you know where you are and you know how to transfer into the next zone. That way you can connect all of them. So if I start here, I know it was zone 1, zone 2. I'm not thinking about that, but that way I know how to voice lead and where to find the notes. That's all improvising, thinking of zones. Okay, so when you have a chord, going back to the formulas that you have to learn, you have F sharp, let's say, F sharp minor. So you know we played the major 7 flat 5 shape up a minor third, right? So you have to know how to find your zones from there. Here's zone 1, right? This was 5, 4, and zone 2, 3. And again, when you play those notes, which is the whole point of this video, you are immediately hitting the best sounding notes. I'm playing other notes, obviously, that are not exactly in the shape, but I'm basing, you know, the center of it, the center of the harmonic and melodic idea is of the harmonic structure. 9th. So again, you by playing these, you just have more chances of playing the best sounding stuff. And I'm not making this up. Transcribe solves. Transcribe George Benson, Wes Montgomery, Jim Hall, Miles Davis. You know, you line up all of these ideas on that G minor and C7. You have to play those notes on those chords. Anyway, so the zones, you gotta practice the zones. Now, if I have a 2-5-1, let's say I have a 2-5-1 in A major, which is B minor 7, then you have that E7, and then your A major 7, right? I'm going to improvise using my major 7 flat 5 shapes. So I have the first one right on the relative major of the minor, so it would be a D major 7 flat 5. Then you have the E7. I want to alter the E7, right? You should always alter your 2-5 5 chords. Not 1,000% of the time, depends. Use your ears, use the context, know the context. But in jazz, a lot of times, obviously, we alter that. So I'm going to use the major 7 flat 5 off the third of the chord to provide those alter tensions we talked about. And then finally on the root. So the soloist changes will be D, major 7 flat 5, your A flat, major 7 flat 5 or G sharp, and then A major 7 flat 5. Okay? So I'm going to play of those sounds in that 2-5. Again, D, voice lead to a flat major 7 flat 5, and then voice lead to the A major 7 flat 5. The voice leading part is obviously the most important thing at the point of change, because if you don't voice lead correctly, your line won't sound good. By voice leading, I mean, those alter notes have to move by step to the resolution. Same thing from here to here. You gotta voice lead all of them, basically. So there I'm thinking of this. Then I'm thinking of this. Different 2/5. Let's do it in G. There I was thinking of the C major 7 flat 5 shape. Then I was thinking of the G flat major 7 flat 5 shape, and then of the G. It's not easy. It's not easy to make these sound good, because you have to practice so much to understand how to bring out melodies out of chordal structures. If you're not used to approach it in this way, if you're used to playing scales, it's gonna be like that. So again, these just provide high quality information, really high quality harmonic and melodic information on those chords, and you can play anything and voice lead everything like that. So practice it, and hopefully you'll find something useful in this approach. And that's it for today, I think. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video.